founder, Julian Assange. Shame on you. So, big congratulations to the Indian American Muslim Council for staging the first ever Human Rights and Religious Freedom Journalism Awards ceremony in Washington, D.C. the other day. I was asked to speak about the role the press should play in holding the BJP-led Indian government to account for human rights and religious freedom violations. And I was given around 5 minutes, but I'm sure I overran. Basically, I said journalism is a powerful weapon, which is why many dictators like to exert control over the media, and in even extreme cases, either ban or close down newspapers, radio and TV stations, kill journalists, and even in so-called democracies, governments are well aware of the power and influence that the media can have on voters. Critical front pages and commentaries can win or lose elections, garner the backing of the public, and even start wars. The democracy in focus for my speech, though, was the Republic of India, the most populous democracy in the world today. Sadly, it has become one of the most dangerous places in the world for journalists who write critically about the government. In this case, I'm talking about the ruling BJP government led by Narendra Modi. Awful man. Yes, I know journalists are supposed to be impartial, but I am going to speak on the side of the oppressed, not the oppressor. This is a government which has shown nothing but contempt towards India's Muslims, who make up around 14% of India's 1.4 billion citizens. Modi clearly has ambitions to stride the world stage as a respected figure, and he's gone out of his way to cultivate good relations with influential countries from east to west in a bid to grab a greater role for himself. But while he has been schmoozing world leaders from Washington, Moscow, Beijing, as well as Europe and the Middle East, back home, he has rolled out a number of anti-Muslim policies which prompted Gregory Stanton, the founder and director of Genocide Watch, to warn that there were early signs and processes of genocide in the Indian state of Assam and Indian administered Kashmir. Modi has presided over a government that has stripped Kashmiris of the special autonomy that they've had for 7 decades and introduced the Anti-Muslim Citizenship Amendment Act. He is also credited with presiding over the genocidal attacks on Gujarat's Muslim minority community when he was chief minister back in 2002. 2,000 Muslims were systematically slaughtered and 200,000 more were displaced. Modi has deliberately stoked Hindu nationalist sentiment and frequently looked the other way as unbridled hatred towards Indian Muslims has turned into religious violence, killings, and destruction. Trust in news has taken a plunge globally. And in places like India, we need journalists more than ever now to continue delivering the truth, which is a heroic act in 2022. Imagine that. Many of these courageous individuals are the subject of slander, with their work systematically being discredited. This is the new tool of corrupt governments and politicians, police and other security forces. Demonize the journalists. Our profession, as well as our integrity and character, is coming under attack on the social networks, in private briefings and other arenas. I know, I've experienced it myself. We've seen it in the demonization of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. I remember just a few months ago when Margarita Simonyan, the editor-in-chief of RT, which was the former Russia Today, she said, no great nation can exist without control over information. Well, she's right as well. The weaponization of media in authoritarian countries strips citizens' rights to information, but is also linked to the rise in international tension, which can lead to the worst kind of wars. The organization said that 46 journalists were killed in 2002, of which 4 died in India. India is among the 5 most dangerous countries in terms of journalists killed across the world this year, according to the media watchdog Reporters Without Borders. I would rather have a completely free press with all the dangers involved in the wrong use of that freedom than a suppressed or regulated press. Those were the words of Nero, India's first prime minister, and he said that during a speech at the Newspaper Editors Conference back in December 1950. Well, Nero must be spinning in his grave at the moment when we look at the state of the free press in the world's largest democracy. Modi, shame on